Welcome into this first carrier update of the morning presented by Powerfleet. I'm Tony, joined by Donnie. Donnie, starting out a little different today.
Yeah, so we're going to start with Atlas today, our Container Atlas program. It is in your app section in Sonar, and it gives you a lot of insight on what's going on with the imports that are coming in. I say the U.S., but up here you can see you can pick which origins, which ports of those origins, and which destinations. So I've picked, for this map here, I've picked all ports coming into the U.S. to all ports in the U.S., so both East Coast and West Coast. Now, a few months ago, we wrote some articles, and that really kind of fired up a lot of people's thoughts on the imports a few months ago based on this big slide right here. And now this slide is, this is before this is the bookings. They haven't left, the ports yet. So we're talking a lot about what's coming out of China. And people started, getting fired up saying, hey, no, the ports are full and boats are backed up and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, this is still 30 to 60 days out, which we're seeing now. We are seeing a slowdown, but the problem is why it's not being, quote, quite so visible is because the ports are still backed up with ships anchored out at sea.
Yeah.
Even after the Chinese New Year's and after China shut down.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, Walmart, prime example, Target, you start to hear these inventory levels. Well, the inventories at their warehouses, look at Prologis' release. You're talking 98% occupied. It's not a whole lot of room to move things that are coming into the ports right now anywhere. Containers are basically stuck at the ports with nowhere to go, and the boats that are out in the ocean have nowhere to unload the containers because the ports
are floating warehouses.
Yeah, that's basically what they are.
Yeah, and so it's going to be interesting what happens here because, coming up here, last year there was a lot of issues with the Christmas time where people are going to be able to get their goods to the stores before Christmas or in time to sell them. And some people missed that boat because of issues with the ports. And we could see the same thing again this year. We've had some, COVID affected the port workers just as well. And issues were happening there. They showed on TV, the trucks, they kind of had it backwards on TV. But, I saw on social media trucks back up trying to get loaded, and the TV showed the exits that were empty, which showed me that trucks were all lined up at the entrance and they weren't making it through the exits. There's just issues at the port. Well, we might see that again. So this is something that we might need to watch here, and it might be even almost too late. We should start seeing if maybe container shipping a little bit earlier this year for Christmas, but we're looking at in the next few weeks, August 15th to August 30th, because it takes 30 to 60 days, they want it here so they can get it to their DCs and to the stores before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so it's definitely an interesting time on the ocean, but we'll be sure to check that out as we move into later into the third quarter. Right now, we'll toss it over to Sydney Edwards with our first look at headlines this morning.